Hey everybody, thank you for joining me today. So today's Technique Tuesday video is actually going to be covering gouache watercolors and your regular watercolors. So I have two pieces of paper. These are both foundation papers. And I grabbed my Mission Gold watercolor set. Which when I do watercolors, I do tend to enjoy using. And then this is my Arteza gouache watercolor. Okay. And so what we're going to do is I'm just going to draw on this black one. I wind up drawing two lines because I didn't get it right center. And then this one, I'm just going to try and hope I get it in the center and draw the one. And on one side, we're going to do the regular watercolor. And then we're going to do a similar color in the gouache watercolors on the other side. So I pulled this little box out so I could figure out how to spell the word gouache. Because, yeah, it's not one of those words that I'm readily able to spell. So here we go. So the first thing I'm going to start off with is sort of like this hot pink color. I'm going to grab it out of the Mission Golds first, and we're going to do the watercolor side. And this is what I suggest you do with all of your mediums. Like if you're unsure how they're going to work on different cardstocks, then test it out. See what it's going to do. This gives you sort of like almost like a swatch, right? To see how it's going to work with the paper. Because mind you, most of the time, watercolor, even the gouache paints, you're using them on some type of watercolor paper. This is foundations paper. And though it's made for like mixed media and stuff, it still can only take but so much water, right? So you have to be mindful of that when you're working with these. So by playing with the different colors, this is gonna show like how do I explain it? Like how vibrant or how bright the color is gonna show up depending on what paper you use. And it really, my theory comes to life when I use this one. See how with that purple watercolor, you can barely see. All you can see on the black is like, it looks like a wet mark, right? Like you can tell something was put down there, but you just can't tell the color. A lot of times, depending on the colors that you're choosing, they tend to do that a lot with the watercolors. So I decided to grab some of this white gouache. Look at that. That is so pretty on just the plain black paper. And then I put it down on the white just so that way we can continue with our comparison. Because there is a white in my Mission Golds. And what I like about this white to me gives more of a chalky look. As it dries, it definitely fades back and is not a very vibrant white. And then I was like, you know what? Let's try some of the green. Because this is how you figure out how your colors, how your different products that you get, how they're going to operate on the paper you like to use the most, right? Foundations is probably the one that I use more often for my scrapbook layouts, and sometimes even for cards. It just depends on what I'm doing with it. But I realized that wasn't the right green, but we're going to put it down anyway. And then I'm going to grab one more green, which is more of a yellowy green, to test out as far as the gouache. What I do is I just squeeze from the barrel so that water drops will fall into the little pan, and then it creates that, it wettens the paint in my pan there, and then I can grab the ink. All right, so now we're going to close everything up. And then I'll hold these up closer. I think I'm going to also grab my heat tool. Yeah, just so we can get them all to where all of them are dry and we can really see what these look like. And like I said, you can, if you wanted to make a swatch of your inks like these, you could stamp an image that's open, like a circle or hearts or whatever type of stamp that you may have, and then fill it in with the watercolor. If that works, if that's how you want your swatch to look. This was easiest for me to show you how it affects depending on what paper you're using. And you can definitely see a difference with certain colors on the black paper. The watercolor, it really isn't made for that, right? It's very similar to those distress inks. All right, so thank you guys for joining me, and come check out my video tomorrow where we're actually going to be using some of the gouache paints. So I hope to see you then. Have a good one.